Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of this Haba series. We'll be talking about striving in the cause of Allah through our wealth, and we'll be using UTHMAN ibn AFFAN as an example. As we all know, he is one of the richest of the companions, and UTHMAN was from a very, very wealthy clan. He was also a very successful businessman. But of course, as the typical narrative goes, that anytime anyone accepted Islam, especially in the Meccan phase, they were usually, their status in society, or if it was their wealth, it would usually depreciate. And that is because of their immense love for Islam and their will to want to donate to the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And UTHMAN ibn AFFAN, we see his generosity really when he executed he embarked on many projects and southern causes. Most famous was his cause in the Battle of Tabuk, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was seeking for donation for this expedition. It was a very expensive one, as the Muslims were going to face the Roman army. And for anyone who understands what the Roman army means, it's a lot. It takes a lot to take a lot to face them. But rather, UTHMAN at that time was said to be receiving as we would call it, a truck, a container. So in their time it was a caravan, and his caravan contained about 300 camels. Each camel loaded to the brim, like filled with goods and lots of loads. And then and there, it coincided with this fundraiser the Prophet ﷺ was doing. And as soon as this caravan arrived, UTHMAN donated the whole of the caravan, the entire caravan, to this expedition. You can imagine how much of a fortune that would have been to just donate all of that in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the amazing part is that it never reduced his wealth. We see that years after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, that is after the Prophet's death, he also did something similar when there was a famine in the whole of Medina, and he received a similar amount of camels and loads and goods from a caravan. And then and there, many of the merchants of Medina had come to meet him to ask him to sell to them, and he said he was not selling. And then they kept increasing the prices, but he said he's not selling. He has someone who is going to give him much more. And so they kept asking, okay, will you sell to us? At the point, they eventually doubled what the price of one had placed on the normal price of the goods. But still, UTHMAN rejected, and he said, I have someone who's going to pay me between more than 10 times of this wealth back. And they wondered who. And he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said he donated all of that to the fuqara, to the poor people of Medina. And we see in all of this, really, what it means to strive because of Allah with your wealth, to share your wealth, to donate your wealth to the cause of Allah itself. Either it is an Islamic program, to a building a masjid, to helping the Muslims, or to social cause, feeding the people, to help people who are in need, people who cannot afford certain things in their lives. So we are encouraged to strive in cause of Allah with our wealth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not only reward us in hereafter, but even in this dunya. If you want to really be rich, one secret to being rich is to keep giving, and to keep giving in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and helping the people. And Allah would always be in your aid, comes to your aid, and will replace whatever it is that you have donated. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.